Hello, hello, hello. Hey everyone. Hey Claire.
Hey, Arlemi.
How's it going?
It's good. It's good. It's morning here. Where is it? Or what time is it where you are?
It is 4:03 p.m. in London. I see. Yeah, I was gonna wait a bit more before starting the stream, and then I saw we had like so many people on the chat, so I was like, let's not have them wait. Let's start the stream already. Welcome
They're
everyone.
here. They're ready.
Yeah, everyone's ready. Welcome to one of our Thursday stream, Postman live stream. If it's the first time you're joining us, we do that every Thursdays on different topics. Sometimes we just build something and we let you know in advance what we're going to do. And sometimes we just pick a random victim and we let them build something without letting them know what with. And that's what we're going to do today. Today I'm with Claire. Claire, do you want to give us a quick intro to who you are, what you do?
Hey, everybody. I am a student community manager here at Postman and today's victim for the Blindfold challenge. Go easy on me, Arlemi.
Okay, I'll try. I'm Arlemi. I'm a developer advocate at Postman. So I'm located in London. Claire is in Oregon, you said, I think.
Spot on.
Yeah, I say places like that. I have no clue where exactly Oregon is in the US, but I know it's in the US, so there's that.
Good.
I see we have people from India. We have someone from London. Yay, friends. And I see we already have like some questions. Are we going to support SOAP? I'm pretty sure we've released something around that recently. I would check the release notes because that rings a bell. But yeah, before we get started, what we do in our streams, we have a quick section which is called "In Case You Missed It," and we go through what you may have missed in Postman since the last stream. So for the last week, and I have a few things this time. So let me bring them on there. Yep. Okay, so hopefully you're seeing my screen and it's big enough that you can read. I'll keep the chat on for now so we can see all your messages, but after a while I'm going to leave it when we start coding, etc. If there's coding, just, maybe there's coding, maybe there isn't coding. Abhishek is asking, what's the agenda for today? I'm going to challenge Claire to build something. I've not announced what yet, but I'll do it right after this section. So what's new in Postman? Well, we made collaboration easier. So you might not have access to that yet. It's being rolled out to everyone as we speak. But there's a few things that are changing in the way you're working in Postman and mostly in your workspaces. Until now, any workspace, you would have to join it. So we're changing that you have access to every workspace. You don't need to explicitly join a workspace. But what comes with this is a change of permissions as well. So now you're able to set permissions at the workspace level. Anyone that joined that has access to that workspace gets default an editor role or default a viewer role. So there's a few things that are changing, or you can be a workspace admin. And if you're interested in that, if that sounds like something that's going to change the way you work with your team, I will be posting that link in the chat so you can all see all the details of it, because there's quite a few. I think we have some people from Postman on the chat. If you wouldn't mind reposting it to LinkedIn, because I think it's not being posted there straight away. Okay, another thing. I'm actually going to keep this one for the end. But one thing that you may have heard of, or maybe you've already finished the challenge, Joyce, the developer relations director of developer relations at Postman, created a kind of an escape game in Postman. So if you're familiar with escape game, you're locked in a room. You have a certain amount of time, usually an hour, to get out of there. And she created kind of the same thing with Postman. Obviously, you're not locked in Postman. We don't keep you hostage. You can leave whenever you want. But it's a few challenges that you have to solve in Postman, and it should take from an hour to probably days, because some of these challenges are pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. But if you're interested in doing that, same again. There's quite a few interesting challenges. There's a little video where just gives you the mission or what your mission is going to be. And I'll also post this one in here. There's all the details is in the blog post. So it tells you you have a team size, recommended, a duration 2 to 4 hours. That's depends on you. Could be less, could be more. And then the level, some FAQ, etc. So if you're interested in doing that, it's a cool challenge to do. I was not lucky enough to be able to go through it when it was released. I was doing the QA for it, so I did not get to enjoy the full experience. But I think it's pretty cool to go through on your own, or just as a team if you're like working in an API related team, doing anything with APIs. I think it's a good team building challenge as well. Have you done it, Claire?
I've forked it, so I have intended to start it, but I'm curious, do you know how many people have completed it yet?
That's a good question. I think I know we have at least 2 postmaners that have completed it, and it's been released for a few days only. So we have 2 postmaners, but I'm not sure how many external people have done it. I don't know if you have Joyce in the chat, but maybe she can fit in.
So now's your chance to be famous, maybe.
Yeah, and I know actually that's a good point, because I know we have so anyone that finishes it gets a badge, but I'm pretty sure there's like some swag going for whoever finishes it first. So if no one else has finished it yet, then you might be able to claim some Postman swag.
Nice.
Okay. I think that's about it for introduction, in case you missed it. Oh, 3 people have completed it so far, according to Joyce, who created it. So I would trust that there's already 3 people that have created it. Let me remove my screen, and then we can jump into the topic of today.
Into the frying pan.
Exactly. Okay, so Blindfold challenges, as I mentioned before, if you've joined a bit late, it's just a challenge where I pick an API, and then just on the day, Claire doesn't know which API I'm going to give. I'm just going to let her know what it is. She's going to find it, start building with it, and then as she progresses, we're going to add more and more challenges. You, as the audience, feel free to jump in. It can be jumping in to help, because Claire doesn't know the API. I barely know it, so I might not be able to help. So we could use anyone's help if we're getting stuck. But also, if you have challenges to some challenges idea that you want to give, feel free to do that as well. So for today's API, or today's challenge, I was kind of thinking how it's been the topic at work recently, in Postman, where we talked about the future of work, how we want to get from just being all in offices to creating like some sort of maybe hubs, right? Like we're all remote now. There's Postman nodes all around the globe, and we want to be able to meet in different places. So that led me to think of like what would be a good API to kind of arrange these type of meetings, some sort of like geolocation, direction API, and we have one somewhere that does that. We actually have a couple, so I'm gonna give it to Claire now. I'll just see if she finds the right one, and then if she doesn't, I can just give the name of the API. But let's do that. And then so the challenge is going to be the basic one. The first one I'm going to start with is just based on some not finished address name. So it could be just like a street and a city name.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to use that API to get the perfect point, map point, and then get directions from where you are to that point.
Oh boy, in the same API?
Yeah, in the same
Or
API.
that we'll have to find out. Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right. I guess it's too early to phone a friend, but I'm always going to keep my eye on the chat in case anybody has a tip.
Okay.
Let me.
Yeah, I'll let you share your screen. For anyone on the
Yeah.
chat, I'm going to remove you from the screen, but we're still reading you. We still have you on our side, so feel free to
That's
chime
right.
in. I can always highlight messages like this one from Vikram, who says, "Go Claire." We have Danny, obviously, just flexing that he's got all the badges. Typical Danny. And Sean also giving some encouragements, I guess. Okay.
Thanks for having my back. All right, so I'm just going to open up Postman here, and I guess the first place to start would be searching for the API. And Arlemi, to be clear, we want to find an API that does geolocation of addresses, right?
Yeah. So yeah, okay. I did drop a few keywords when I did my description. I wanted to make sure that you could find it with this. But if you can't, it's fine. I can give it to you.
All right. There's no rewind on the live stream, unfortunately. So I'm just going to start with geolocation in the search. And oh boy, we've got a lot. Let's take a look. So IP geolocation, that's not what we want. We want to look up addresses, right?
Yep.
Not IP addresses.
I mean, if you want to get a direction from one IP address to another IP address, I guess that's also a thing.
You keep hinting that direction might be part of it. Geolocation. Map.
Maybe just direction?
Direction. There's a little cute routing and directions API. That sounds like something to look at. Let's take a look. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger too. All right. So this is ArcGIS Location Services public workspace. It's a REST API for locations.
Yeah. I'm going to give you your first tick because you found the right API. So that's the
yes
first challenge done. So yeah, ArcGIS is more than just a geolocation API, but I think they provide the maps, etc., for plenty of services like here, etc. And they also provide APIs on top, which allow you to do a lot of things. But in between these things, there's geocoding, reverse geocoding, and finding routing and directions. So that should be all you need. So because we want you to have the proper newbie experience with that API, I'll leave you to it. There should be some information at the workspace level.
All right, let's check out the workspace here. And I am a newbie indeed. This is the first time I've ever even heard of ArcGIS, so this will be fun. So it says, here's how we get started with this API. We can make a free account and then see get started. We'll be needing an access token. Let's take it one step at a time. I'll open the create an account. It's taking me to YouTube. Oh boy, all right. It's our first dead end. Well, maybe we can Google it instead.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be some feedback for them. The dead YouTube link for creating an account is maybe not the right way to do it.
Well, this looks like we can find it. Thank you, Google. Let's go ahead and sign up for a developer account. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my GitHub. And allow it to access my personal info.
Okay, so
Can we trust it, Arlemi?
Yeah, I was gonna say you went for GitHub credit card. I know personally when whenever I create accounts for any service, I try to avoid just connecting my different things together. So I will
Hmm.
always go for email. I never
You're
sign in with
very,
Google or
that is very wise, but I am very lazy, so.
yeah. Sometimes probably should be lazy, but and
Okay.
we can trust them. And if
Can
anything
we?
happens, I know where they live. So
Arlemi, did you read the master agreement beforehand
I
for
have
me?
not. But so
Oh, okay.
when you sign up with the normal flow, when you click "I've read the agreement," there's
Uh-huh.
like a big warning that says you need to read the agreement,
Oh boy.
and then you can sign it. So I guess they really want you to read it.
Well, I'm going to blindly agree for today. I'm very trusting. I'm feeling trusty. And I'm even going to accept all the cookies too. Just throwing it all out there. So this is a different flow than the way you tried this, Arlemi, right? Because you
Yeah,
created an email account, but you probably came to this screen. All right.
yeah. I'm hoping the same account is being created afterwards, so we should get
Yeah,
the same access levels.
great. So welcome. Choose a IPA, API or SDK. Oh boy, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Is this just for their survey internally, maybe?
Yeah, I don't think this. They say it's going to change the way things are displayed. I know I went for the first one, the ArcGIS API for JavaScript.
Okay,
I think that's probably just setting the default language in the documentation. Probably if you're doing
good
Android,
point.
it's going to do Kotlin or something.
That's right. Okay, so what do you want to do with ArcGIS? Well, I have to ask you, Arlemi, what do we want to do? Are we going to be building a mapping application, or I
I
guess this is
guess
also a survey, huh?
yeah, we can decline to answer. I think it's fine.
That's right. We'll keep it a surprise. All right, so updates. Yeah, I don't think any of this information really impacts our access to the API, it
No.
sounds like. Okay, so here we are in our developer dashboard. We are still setting up the account. It's given me an API key that's kindly blurred
Yep,
out for the live stream.
it's very good.
And let's see, I'm going to head back over to Postman because I noticed there was an authentication collection here. Maybe it will give us some instructions on how to get started. So it's saying the ArcGIS platform supports secure access to location services and private data. An authentication method is the process used to obtain an access token. All right, this sounds like it might be OAuth. Oh, but here we have API keys, the recommended way. And I think that's what we had in our dashboard. So how to get an API key, we did that. All
So
right.
are you sure you want the API key?
Well, what are we trying to do again? Are we just doing the geocoding step?
Actually, no, you're right. Read only should be fine. Just thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess if we get stuck, we can try to get the access token, but otherwise,
I'm not afraid of 403 errors or
okay.
401 errors. I'm ready to bumper car this. Yeah, but I wanted to ask, are we trying to start with geocoding an address? Is that the goal here?
Yeah, we can start with that part, which is just kind of guess a proper address, like a complete address with postcode, etc., just from an incomplete one.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to take a look at the request and see if there's any hints on how we fill this out. So it looks like we have to get the base URL for this API still, but it says once we have that, we can find address candidates. All right, is this what we want? Let me zoom out just a tad. Hopefully you
Yeah,
can all still see. It looks like this one takes a format, and some of the parameters that we can add are, oh, there's a ton of
that's a
options
lot of
here.
parameters. Yeah,
Ooh, I see an address query parameter.
yeah.
That might be what we want to use. So I think this endpoint might be on the right track for converting an address to an XY coordinate. How do we authorize this request, I wonder? It says we need a token. You need a valid access token. Okay. And I know, does it say how to get it? Because we have in our ArcGIS dashboard, we have an API key,
Yep.
which is not an access token. So maybe in the authentication folder, it's going to tell us how to get it.
I need to stop nodding so much because I keep saying yes, yeah.
Is it? Because I'm not even looking at you, so
okay,
you need
so
to
that's
verbally nod.
Okay.
Look, this says generate token in the request URL,
yeah.
so sounds like we're on the right track. All right, so let's check the documentation. Using the generate token endpoint, you can get an access token by sending username and password directly. Uh-oh, but I made a GitHub one.
Oh,
this is going to be
true.
fun. Maybe I should make a new account.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
We could try this. Maybe, well, it gave me a username in the dashboard here. And actually, I've done this before where you use like OAuth to sign up for an API. And then if it requires this like username password, you can usually update in your
you can do
account.
like change your password or something and then get a new
Yeah,
one.
let's see if I can. We've got all of this in here. I don't see a password field. Well, you know what?
Nope, can't see anything.
I'm gonna. I want to see if we can do this with the GitHub, just to.
Yeah.
All right. So here in the body of our post request, it's asking for a format, username and password, which are set at a variable level. Oh, you know what I need to do first? I'm just looking at this. Yeah, I can't edit in here because I need to fork this to my workspace. I see that there's 4 collections here, so we're gonna have to go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
What I like to do is copy into a new tab the workspace, the original workspace, so I can keep returning to it.
Yeah, I usually count how many times I'm gonna have to do it. Then I open like 4 tabs and just fork them in 4 different tabs.
Let's do it the Arlemi way. So we're gonna have 4 of these, right? I'm gonna duplicate these tabs. And I need to fork it to my own workspace.
Yep.
So I'm gonna create a new one from the workspace dropdown.
We keep getting some nice messages in the chat in the meantime. Thank you all for your nice messages, by the way. It's always appreciated. So you're creating a new workspace in which you're going to put all these collections.
That's right. I'm going to call it the ArcGIS Blind Challenge workspace. I'm going to hide it from you. Make it a personal workspace, but all of you on the live stream can see it. Okay, so now I have a place to dump my forked collections. And I'm going to duplicate this one more time. All right, so one by one, I'm going to just fork all of the 4 collections in this workspace. We got
you
the
might not need
one.
You won't need the last one. Yeah.
Good point.
But you might have an environment to fork.
Okay, that sounds like a hint. I usually name my forks with the date.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds like very like a password kind of thing. But okay, no, that makes sense.
Sometimes you fork the same collection several times, so I need to distinguish them. All right, so I'm going to fork this one to my new my new workspace. It's going to teleport me there, so I'll head to the next tab to get the geocoding collection. Create a fork.
Yeah, as Sean is saying, subtle hint. I need to get better at giving hints that are not like directly the answer. That's probably why I didn't do the Lost in Space challenge myself, because otherwise it would just be go there, do this.
Well, don't worry. Even with your hints, I'm pretty lost, so it's all working according to plan. I'm just going to fork one more here, the routing. I guess the 19th today, right? Am I lying to myself? Right. So we should have forked now the first 3 collections to
Yep.
my blind workspace. Okay. And we've got our copy that we can edit. We're on the step of trying to get that access token. So from the authentication request here, we're trying to figure out how to get a token with the GitHub. And in the body, it's asking us for a username and password.
Which are the ones you could have used to create your account, but since
right.
since you use OAuth, we might have to find a workaround.
Let me just if I can't find it in the help here, I might just create a new account with an email. Let's see.
So you have you have your email that is linked now, right? So what if you log out and do I forgot my password? Would that allow you to like set one up?
Sometimes it just gets angry and it's like that email has already been used. But let's try. Sign in. All right. Instead of using GitHub, I'll use my GitHub email, which is my personal email. And I don't have a password, so I forgot password. Username. Oh, okay. It gave me one at this username, I think.
Okay.
All right. And I think that's going to go to my personal email.
Do I need to stop sharing your screen? Oh, okay. Yeah, that works too.
I'm just going to pull this to another window. I will talk you all through it. So
yeah, I can just I'm removing your screen sharing, and then we can just bring the chat back for a minute. How's everyone feeling about the challenge so far? Do you have any things that you would like Claire to see building after?
We need some like elevator music here.
Yeah, I actually don't know if you can play music at the same time than we. So you're checking your emails. You're hopefully seeing one to reset your password.
Can I share my screen again and just show the email I got?
Yep.
So I got this email saying, you made an account with a GitHub. Go check your GitHub. So I think I'm going to recreate an account in ArcGIS that actually uses an email.
I'll give you my credentials. That's probably easier.
Is that faster? Okay. Yeah. All right. Oops. Arlemi, you and I were just talking about losing our Chrome tabs on a Mac, and I think I've lost those.
And it's gone. It's on a different desktop.
I found it. Okay. Alrighty, let's see here.
Okay.
Are you sending credentials?
Yep.
Via a secret channel here?
A super secret channel.
All right, so I could have created a new account, but Arlemi is helping speed it up by just giving me his email and password, or username and password. Okay, so we're gonna head back to the authentication request here. And now I finally have a username and password that I can populate these variables as. I believe I can set the variables on our collection. So head to variables.
That's
go ahead.
One of the place where, especially because this one is actually asking for your real password.
Right.
So this one would be one that we probably wouldn't want to show on screen.
That's right.
How would
I
we
won't
do
reveal
that?
your password. Well, I could either pull Postman off screen or use a very hacky Chrome extension I recently built to hide variables on a live stream.
Yeah, that would be cool. Because actually, I forgot Claire built that, and she just reminded me before the stream, and I was like, yep, I have the perfect place to use that. So do you want to quickly show us? Because I think that's pretty cool.
Sure. For right now, okay, I have these. As you may know, in Postman, if you put an initial value for your variable, that's going to be shared with anyone. It's like the default value of your variable. So if Arlemi or somebody forked my collection, he would be able to see that value. It's very useful for like URLs and things you do want to share, but it's very not useful for things you want to hide. And Postman is going to resolve your variable to anything in the current value column for the variable. So if you only put your variable here, it will not be shared if somebody forks your collection or views your collection on another machine. So I built this little Chrome extension that will, for example, I'm going to type in a value here for the username. This Chrome extension will hide anything in the current value column if it's populated. So
I like the emoji you used.
Yeah. Now there's a little bug that the checkbox always is checked, but if you, there we go. If I check it, now you see whenever there's a value in here, it's going to be hidden.
Okay.
So there's an instant that you will see it. Maybe I could do that off screen, but
that's fine. You should just paste it. I think, yeah, I really like that.
You don't mind if somebody steals your password?
Actually, yeah. Let me just
Yeah.
unshare just while you copy paste.
I will do that. Okay. So first of all, I don't mind sharing your username. Is that okay?
I've already unshared, so copy away.
We're off screen. All right.
Yep. In the meantime, we have people saying hi. Rama
and I'm done.
Hi. You're already done.
Safe. It's safe.
I share again.
Voila. So again, reminder, this emoji hidden is not part of Postman. It's a Chrome extension on top. If you are a live streamer and you want to use this feature, it is open source on GitHub. It's called
if you have a link to share,
yeah,
you can send it to me on Slack and I'll put it on the chat.
Yeah, I'll share it real quick. So here in GitHub, in repositories, and it's one of the recent ones here. So yeah, like the bug or anything you just saw, if you want to contribute to this and play around with it, you are more than welcome to make a pull request. All right. So I've shared it with Arlemi. It might end up in the chat soon. Cool. So finally, we have some values for our username and password, meaning now in our authentication request, I can hover on the username and you'll see it's unresolved because I did not save. A common error.
Typical. Yep.
I've saved it now. So let's just double check and make sure we've got a username. Yep. All right. I'm going to send this off. Let's see what happens. All right. We got a status 200. And finally, we have our token.
Cool.
And I see there's some scripts here. I'm wondering if it's coded to set this automatically. It looks like, yeah. It is getting our response and saving the token to a global variable called access token. So global variables live on our workspace. I can now access our access token anywhere in this workspace with this variable name.
Yep.
So that's the next step, right? We're trying to do some geocode search. I'm going to go to the Geocode API search endpoint. And again, we're missing the base URL here. We need to find that. So let's go to the ArcGIS. Yeah.
If you go back to their workspace,
here,
I think there was a.
Oh shoot.
That's fine.
Sorry. You didn't see anything.
No, nothing happened. That's TVOs. On their public workspace, I think there's an environment which might contain these.
Oh, okay. Let's double check. So this is their public workspace, the original. Let's check the environments. Oh, okay. So they've got ArcGIS Online and Platform. Let's try the Platform one.
I think they're all. So one is.
I think that's it.
Yeah. So this one says Geocode-API, and I think the ArcGIS Online says just Geocode, maybe. Yeah. So
okay.
it's one or the other, but you can fork one of these environment and bring it to your workspace.
My hacky Chrome extension kicking in just too late.
Yeah, just a few seconds too late.
All right, I'm just gonna take this and we'll fork it to our ArcGIS Blind Challenge workspace.
Some people joining now asking what is going on. There's a lot
What is going on?
But it's probably a good time to do a quick quick reminder of what we're doing while she's trying the endpoint. So I just challenged Claire to use Geocoding API to first get a location based on an incomplete address, and then get the direction to that location from where she is or from another place, just like directions from point A to point B. And that's
I
about it.
stole Arlemi's credentials to authorize or authenticate this API. So it looks like, I'm not sure, we just forked one of the two environments they gave us. I'm not sure if this is the right value, but let's give it a try. So here, if I go to the collections and we're going to geocode request, for search. Here we are. Okay, so it's looking for one called Geocode API, and we have that now, but it needs to be set as our environment, right? And now we have it. Not sure if it's the right value, but let's give it a try.
We'll see.
I believe we need to put our access token in here. And remember, in our previous request, automatically using the test tab in our request, we have saved the access token from our response to a global variable. So we have access to it. And I can get it just by using variable syntax, double curlies. All right, so that should be our access token. But there we are. And is that all we need? No, we need to put an address in there. All right, so what should we look up? You said like we can do a city, maybe?
Yeah, we could do
London.
Let me see. I wonder if it's
a lot of Londons in the world.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Let's do 100 feet road.
100 feet road?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yep. And then
sounds like a Mario Kart map or something.
that's the address of our Bangalore office.
Oh, really? Okay, do we need to give like a country or anything?
Yeah, let's try to just do India maybe. There's very likely more than 100 feet road, but we can just try that.
For the country, should I put it as address 2, you think? Or like, I'm guessing this is kind of like when you go to the post office and they have the 3 lines for your address. Let's give it a try. I don't know.
I guess the docs would tell you. I actually don't know.
Let's see what comes back. Okay, we got a problem. Should not include a token. Okay, well, here we are, ArcGIS online search. So we might have forked the wrong environment. Remember, there was online and platform.
Yep.
And maybe it's expecting the platform one. And instead of forking, well, let me just open one of these other tabs.
I think the only difference was like the dash API, right?
At the end of the value? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to just edit our value here. Like that. Bam. It's not really a secret this time. Maybe I should unhide it. Well,
I'll
put it here so you can see it. There you go. Okay. Let's go back and try again. Hopefully it now has the correct base URL with the dash API at the end. There, this is better.
Okay.
400 bad requests. What's it saying here? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I know one thing.
I did something wrong. Yeah.
You did add the token, but if you look at the pre-request scripts,
let's take a look here.
They're already checking if the token exists in your variables. So they're setting it for you from when you set it up at the start.
Oh, I see. Well, should that matter? Wouldn't it like overwrite my token?
Good question.
Let's see here.
And then this one, okay, then it's just the tests failing.
Well, yeah, because it's getting this like HTML response it wasn't expecting. But let's see here.
So if this one doesn't work, they actually have an examples folder you can look at. Yep.
Let's take a look here. Maybe I put something wrong in my request here. Look at that, and they're single. Oh, there's a single line address. Okay, we could try that one out. I'm not sure if that will fix our problem, but it's worth a shot. Because they're doing the exact same thing in their example here with the access token as a variable in the token. So that's a good sign. We'll go back to our parameters here, and instead of multiple line addresses, let's take our 100 feet road, uncheck the address, and bring it up to single line, and make that part of our query parameters. I'll pick the country as well, and save and send. Oh boy, we still got an error. All right. I wonder.
Even if
Well,
you
if we
leave
had,
it, yeah,
yeah.
if you left it to default at a single line, just to see if it's an error with the.
You mean like that?
Bring it. Do Control Command Z again, select all the way to when it was Pennsylvania something.
Okay, string. It was
Sorry,
never Pennsylvania.
I did. Okay, I didn't realize you moved on. You moved back to the other request.
So you want me to do the sample one?
Yeah.
Here.
Just to
You know,
see
why
what.
don't we just try this one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So one difference I see, besides this being a different address, is the PJSON format being used here. I wonder if that matters. Oh yeah, it says required.
Okay.
Did we have that in here? Let's see. Well, we did. We have
Oh, we
all
haven't.
three. So
Okay.
we're being a little greedy here. Okay.
Pick one.
I'm just going to follow the example and get a PJSON. Do you know the difference between PJSON and JSON?
Actually, don't. I was going to ask you.
I kind of want to find out. I think maybe it's like a.
Batuan on the chat asking.
Anybody in the chat now?
Is there a certain format like country, province, etc.? This probably is. So I think there's different ways to do it. Either you use the 3 different address levels as Claire studied to do it, and in that case you can do like different formats, or you can use the single line. But the point of that endpoint that we're using now is that you're meant to be able to feed it whatever, and then it's going to give you a choice of addresses which may be the one that you're looking for, like the exact address. So what's the findings?
So JSON, I don't know if JSON P and PJSON are the same, but JSON P is JSON with padding. I don't know. How about we try both of them and see what comes back different? That would be a good experiment. Anyway,
Jetison says the P is silent.
P is silent. It's not PJSON? All right, so here we have a PJSON response. This is what it would look like, I guess. So we're getting something back finally. Congratulations to us. Finally. It found a 100 feet road in India.
Okay, it's probably not the one.
All right. Probably not the one? I mean, actually, it found several, right?
Yeah, it's an array of addresses.
So candidates. These are like the potential addresses that you meant, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just want to do a quick experiment and see what happens if we ditch the P. Let's see. Hey, it's colored JSON.
So it's basically returning the same thing, but one has the proper header.
Yeah. Maybe the P is for proper. Anyway, I like the JSON response. It's easier to read.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so is this meet our first milepost mission here, Arlemi, of getting the XY coordinates of some addresses?
Yeah, that's fine. We don't need the proper one. We need an address, and then we need locations, because then I guess we could refine that later on. But you have, okay. I gave you some random words. You found an address from it, so that's the second
not
challenge.
Not so random.
Yeah, not places. So random. I did take it from the Postman website. So that's your second challenge. The third one was, now with an address, get the directions from a point A. So I'll let you define this one to that address.
Okay, so we have to look up 2 geolocations, I guess, and then probably use this routing and directions.
Yeah. So we have a question on the chat at the same time.
Yeah.
From Mohammed, who says, how to generate a dynamic header key in Postman.
You can use variables, right?
Yep. So the same way, if you open if Claire opens a request, whichever one, so there's the header tab. And in there, you can use variables just like you could in the params tab. And you can either use the Faker library to just generate like random things, or you can define yours and change it in the pre-request script.
Yeah. So your header, wherever you can save your variables, like on the environment or the global level or the collection level, you
Yep.
can even set this as a script so it dynamically generates your header,
It's
which
even
is
better.
convenient. Yeah.
Add scripts
Great
everywhere.
question. Yeah.
And then we have Batuhan just doing all the play on words with PJSON, probably. PG, son, PJs on. No, is there more?
If anybody out there can solve the PJSON mystery, I'm happy to hear it. Cool. So we're going to try to find directions from point A to point B. Looks like there's a whole folder dedicated to that. Find routes and directions. Here's the examples here. Always a good place to look. Direct. Find a route and directions, or find multiple routes. Let's start easy. Find a route and directions. Okay. So we have a start time now. Where do you give like the start and end point, I wonder? It's in, oh, stops. So these are probably the coordinates.
Yeah, they
Let's see
look
how many
like
of one.
that long.
Yeah, they do. But they look like long. Oh wait, oh no, I see. There are
That's
pairs here.
yeah.
There's one pair here, lat long,
Yeah.
or long lat maybe. And so there's like 3 stops on this one. So I guess it's gonna do point A to point B to point C on the example here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's done, Arlemi. This is how we do it. I just
well, I'm guessing like I guess the challenge is also to go directly from one to the other, right? Like you could
right.
be in Postman and just do, oh, let me open that request, change the parameter, then go to the next one. But what if you could use the value that you got from the first one and just inject it in the next request?
We're gonna build our own flow then, yeah. Okay, I have an idea. What about we make our own collection in here to kind of build this workflow? Because these are great, useful examples, but there's a lot of folders. It's kind of hard to see. So what are we gonna call this? Like the directions-tron. And inside, we're gonna have to get point A, right?
Yep.
The geocode point A. And we'll make another one for point B.
Yeah, I'm wondering now if the direction one only gets lat long in parameters, because if so, it means you're going to have to translate these ones to lat longs, or maybe it takes addresses as well. I don't know.
Oh, is that a hint, Arlemi? Well, they don't give you handy like optional parameters in this one.
Yeah, because it's the example. I think if you look at the one of these ones, it would show you all of them. Oh, there's not that many.
It's a good guess though. But you know what? We can get those coordinates, so why not? It would be a good practice with scripting and stuff. The cool thing is, I know we did our authentication up here and saved it as a global variable. So even as long as we're in this workspace, we can access that access token. Don't have to do authentication again, which is cool. And instead of coding them from scratch or writing them in Postman, I'm just going to copy our geocoding request that we did. This one with the 100 feet road.
Yep.
I'll duplicate it and gonna drag it all the way into our directions-tron collection. Come on. Just,
yeah, you have. I
little
think
by
you have
little.
to. I think it scrolls if you really go like all the way down, but slowly. Yeah.
I'll try it on the next time.
We have Sumyade who says, hint, maybe you want to first use the auth API to get the access token. Oh, we got the access token. That's
a good hint.
Yeah,
if we hadn't saved it, to a global variable, I would definitely want to get the access token in our directions-tron, but we already have it. Okay, so I'm just going to copy location A and location B. Actually, stop it. We're just going to do one at a time. Keep things simple. Okay, so here's our getting location A. we've got our base URL. We've got our sample address here. Are we gonna do addresses in India here? Do you know another one?
No, I was going to say, yeah, we can probably change to... Oh, actually, I have another one, which is our other Bangalore office.
Okay.
So
Let's
we could
do
try
between
to
the
map from
offices,
one to
yeah.
the other, yeah. Do we
Okay,
want to...
let's start. Point A
Maybe
can
we...
be our... Yeah, go
Yeah, we
ahead.
want this one to be more precise.
Right. Do you
So it
know
actually...
what city?
Bangalore,
Bangalore?
and then maybe you can add Karnataka.
Can you help me spell that?
Yeah, Karnataka.
Karnataka. Okay, awesome. Let's give it a test run and make sure we're still getting things back. Looks like it. And now, since it's giving us a list of candidates, probably the first one is the most relevant, I'm assuming, to our search.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Does this address look familiar to you? Zip postal code?
Yeah,
We'll
I mean,
take
yeah, it does. It looks familiar enough.
Great. It's got a score of 100, so it seems pretty
Okay.
confident that this is our address. That's cool. It gives you boundaries of the region as well.
Oh, so you can do like on the map, you could get the box.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's cool. But we're just going to use these XYs, right?
Yep.
So I want to go ahead and pluck those out in our scripts. It's got this cool visualizer going on. Didn't know about that. Let's take a look.
Oh, does it?
Oh, well, it promised to, but I don't see one.
Is it taking
Anyway,
a while
we don't need
to load? Yeah.
I'm going to get our body from the pm.response.json because it's not pjson. And now we want to, let's just go ahead and log this and so we can show what we're getting back here.
In the meantime, we have Sumyadi giving us the complete address of the office, which, to be fair, we don't want that, right? Like, we want to be able to figure it out from the incomplete one.
That's right, and I don't think it gives us directions like up the stairs to the third floor.
Like, maybe it does. I don't know.
That's true. We don't know the power of this API yet.
Ulysses that says, "Is the Lost in Space challenge still going?" Yeah, it's still going.
Yeah, only 3 people have completed it, so
yeah, I'm pretty sure if you
become one of the first.
Postman Lost in Space, you should be able to find it pretty easily, and do it.
So I just logged our response from the API down here. We can see we have an object with 2 properties. One of them is the search results and our candidates. I think we want to grab that first one at index 0. So I'll just say like for location A is the body, and we'll drill down to candidates, and we'll get the first one. So let's just take a look at what we got so far. Location A, send this to trigger our test script. And we get back this little object representing our location. Nice. And let's get the XY coordinates are under a property called location. So let's grab those X and Y from our location A dot location. Now, if we just, I'm a big console logger.
Yeah, I think.
Because it's always good to know when you're doing things wrong. Because it grabbed location A there. There we go. So now we have our X and Y. And I want to save these so we can use them later down the road. No pun intended.
Good PM.
So we can save these as collection variables programmatically using pm.collectionvariables.set, which takes 2 parameters. The first is the name of our variable. So let's call this location A X. Okay, how about this AX there? And we'll say X. And we can do the same for Y. I'll just copy this. AY is Y. So now the next time we send this, I would expect AX and AY to be defined as collection variables on our directions tron. Let's take a look at directions and to the variables. And let me unhide.
Maybe we can unhide it now.
There we go.
Cool.
Here we have, our X and Y. Now, X is latitude. Y is longitude is usually a bigger number. Anyway.
Wait, latitude. Which one is which? Longitude, is it this one or is it this one? People
see, I always think like longitude is long, but it's long either way, so none of it helps.
It's meant to be round.
Which is which?
It's easy to remember which
latitude,
is which.
Latitude comes before longitude in the dictionary. Okay, but that doesn't help. Which way is longitude and which way is latitude? Latitude runs 0 to 90 degrees north and south. Okay, so latitude
is
I guess lateral means up and down.
Makes sense.
And longitude is length.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it still doesn't help, but anyway, now we know. Okay, we got our X and Y of point A, and we want to do the same for a second point, right?
Yep.
So since we've saved all this, right, I could just duplicate this whole request and just rename it to B and make sure that in this request, I struggle with renaming things. Hold on. There, location B. In the test here, hey, did we not save?
Oh, you didn't save.
I thought I saved. Okay. Let me just copy these tests then and paste it in here like that. This time, get rid of all these logs, clean this up a bit. Instead of setting, I guess we didn't even specifically name these A and B.
Yeah.
Instead of AX and AY, we'll do BX and BY, right?
Yep.
And it would be convenient if instead of like going into each of these requests and, changing the single line, maybe we could do it from the collection level. So we just set it one place and let it run.
Yep.
So in our directions, go ahead.
There's an easy way to do that. Since you
there is actually.
Yep.
Thanks for reminding me.
That's one of my favorite features. So
I love anything that helps me be lazy. So in Postman, we can highlight a variable or a value to set it as a variable. So here it's going to give us all of these existing ones, but we want to make a new one. So set as a new variable. And here we are in location A. So I'll call it location A. And we'll have a value of our Bangalore office. Let's save it on our collection and set. Bam, save. Look at that. Now we have location A all ready for us. Let's do the same for location B, which I don't think we have yet. So you said we have another office, right?
Yep.
Do you know the address?
I
off
do.
The top of your head?
If I read it out loud. I actually sent it to you on Slack, but it's 6th Main Road. And then you can do...
I see.
Yeah.
I'm going to copy it.
In Bangalore.
Do you know how far apart these are?
Well, I look at it and I see the postcode is the exact same. And they're in the same
it might
part
be walking distance.
Yeah, they're in the same part of Bangalore, which is Karnataka. So
they're on different roads.
Yeah, at least.
You have to at least cross the street. All right, so I'm going to now set this as our location B. All right, so set as a variable, we'll call this set as a new variable called location B. And set the scope of collection, set. Awesome. So we have A and B and save. Let's just send this and make sure that this location actually gives us addresses. So yeah, we're getting something back here. And since I sent it, it triggered our test scripts here and saved BXBY on our collection. So look at that. We have our AX, AY, BX, BY, all good to go. I'm going to even move these guys up here so we're organized.
Are you a bit OCD on the...
A little bit. There we go.
That would have bothered me too, so I'm very happy you're doing it.
I could just see you writhing in your chair. So
Yeah.
cool. And we haven't finished our mission though, because we have our points, but we want directions, right?
Yep.
And we have up here, find routes and directions. I think this was our request here where we could put in, is it?
No, it was
No,
the
the
example.
example here. This one, because it has stops, which are our XY or our YX pairs. wait, we just learned
Well,
this.
Luis
Oh, it
in
doesn't
the
matter.
chat is saying, in this case, AX is the latitude. And I think
Thank you, Luis.
the way it's
But I
working
think
is
it also,
it's always
yeah, it
lateral,
doesn't,
right?
I don't know. I've really done lots of APIs where they're pretty flippant about which way it goes. So we can try both and see if we end up in the middle of the ocean. Or...
Yeah, fair.
So, of course, we could look at the documentation always, right?
You know.
Who does that?
Who does that?
All right, I'm going to copy this example and try your trick of smashing it to the bottom of the screen to get down there. Yeah. But I'm trying to get way too low.
That one is going to be tricky though.
That's going to be a two-step.
Yep.
There we go. All right, and I don't like the name of this. We're going to say get directions. All right, and we have a different API now. But thankfully, since we forked that environment here, we've got the route API. Hopefully this is the right endpoint. Let's see. Get directions and format. We don't do PJSON here. We do JSON.
Nope, only JSON in here.
And this is going to be the guessing part. It looks like there's XY pairs separated by a semicolon. And the example has 3 stops, but we only need 2. And so I'm going to replace these with our variables. Okay, so Louise said that our X is our latitude, right? And I'm pretty sure longitude usually has these like bigger numbers. I feel like it might be B first.
That makes sense, right? Like, because they said it's minus 180 on either side. And also, otherwise it's minus like 90, minus 90 to 90. If you look at the latitude.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Look at what we got. Our X is the bigger number here. You know what? Let's just look at like the
Louis is saying minus 122 is the longitude and 45 is the latitude. Yeah, that's
okay. Yeah.
We should, you know what? We should just do it this way, and if it's wrong, it's Louis' fault. It's not our fault.
Thankfully, there's no charge on this API for each of our requests. Or so I think. This is on Arlemi's account, so if it is, it's on Arlemi's credit card here. So no harm, no foul. All right, so Louise, I'm trying to follow your advice here. I didn't catch that. You said, let's just try one, okay? So AY, we'll be all backwards here.
Yeah, that's Louis is saying there's no latitude smaller than minus 90. That makes sense. Otherwise, it's just like looping around, I guess, if that works.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I don't know if this makes sense, but what Louise said makes sense. So BY, BX. So if this doesn't explode, are we going to get our directions in Spanish?
Oh, I actually didn't see this one.
Oh, it couldn't find our token. So does the token live on the request, I wonder? Where did we put it?
Did we say that?
Tell us here.
It was global, right?
Yeah, it's global, but we haven't put it anywhere yet.
Oh, yeah, true.
It's not in the params. It's not in the auth.
Before
it was a token key.
It's inheriting from parent, maybe. I see.
Well, I mean, we haven't specified any type of auth to connect it here. Like in our previous requests, we did it in a parameter here. I don't know how the route API works. Let's take a look. Route API, what was this called? GIS, ArcGIS? I think here. This is exactly the request we're working with right now. Does it tell you how to authenticate it?
Okay.
Arlemi, did you get this far when you were playing around with it?
Yeah, I think you might want to have a look at the inherit from parent.
Okay. Maybe.
That's So not on
So we're
this
inheriting
one,
auth from
but on
parent.
the other
Right.
one, the one that's working, right?
Yeah. So our parent is this, and it has no auth right now. And the one that's working here is inheriting from either this or this or this or this. Here we are. All right. So it's saying, oh, okay, API key. This is a different form of authentication than before. Oh, no, it's not.
No, it's actually not, yeah. It's just
It's
a
the same.
type.
But it's a different method, because before we did it on the query params.
Yeah.
Now we're doing,
No,
we're doing the exact same thing.
It's just a different way to do it. It's good, like, right? It shows us the different ways.
We'll show you both ways.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
And
and this one's cool because now you can apply it to all of the requests in a folder very easily, because you can inherit. So I'm going to get directions.
Someone asking, which API is this? It's called the ArcGIS API. And by the way, I know Claire made a joke earlier about my bank card being charged. It's all free. Like everything that we're doing now is free.
This is a very cool API.
They do have some paid features, I know. And you can tell because there's a pricing thing at the top of that page.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that we're doing on this stream, you can do it with the free account.
And pretty generous too. Look, we can get 20,000 routes for free.
Yeah, that's
so we can mess up a lot. We can mess up a lot.
That's
what they're saying. Great. So I'm going to do the same thing that the example did. Before, we had put the authorization right in our params. We could do that again, or at the collection level, head to the authorization tab. We're going to use the API key type of auth. And I believe the key is called token, as we did before. Our value is that access token we got earlier in the stream. I think, what's this? Okay. Yes, okay. And we want to add it not to the header, but to the query params. And if I save this, now any request that's inheriting auth from the parent collection here will have this attached to it. Meaning, actually, we can get rid of this on each of our requests, right?
As long as the auth is inheriting, right?
That's right. But by default, it is. Or not. Okay.
It's probably been removed before you duplicated it.
That's right. Usually it defaults to it. And here we're all good. So let's try this one more time, because now we have set up our auth on our collection. Have you seen a 499 error before? That's a first for me.
I don't think
that's
I have. It's also, actually, I did get that when I tried that API as well. It's pretty funny because they keep sending you 200, and then the error code comes in the response. And some of the error codes, but some of them,
that's true.
I would get like a 4 or 3, etc. Which was
so they are kind of mapping to status codes.
Yeah, it's I'm not entirely sure what they're doing.
Yeah, these APIs are always fun where you get an error, but it's a 200. We got a successful error, guys. All right, so send this off. We get a new error, a 200, 400.
Okay.
All right, unable to complete operation. Location 1 is unlocated. So, we might be in the middle of the ocean here or off the globe.
I'm gonna move our faces so we can actually see everything.
Okay. I've randomly put the coordinates here. YX. Let's try XY instead. I didn't listen to Louise carefully enough. And send this off. Awesome. We have a 200 with an actual response this time. We got some routes. First stop ID, last stop ID, lots of words. Features, attributes. All right, I'm looking for like some sort of coordinates, or how are they going to show a route? Here we are, geometry, path. So it looks like these are probably points on a line, or
that's
like a squiggly line.
That's a long response.
Well, it's a long ways. I guess it's not just across the street to get.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they give you like each step individually.
Yeah.
Do they have probably written instructions?
Let's see. We got it in Spanish. That's cool. Oh yeah, they do have written instructions.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Cool. Should we get it in French? I'll try English. I don't know what everyone's lingua franca is on the call, but let's try English. So here we are. Look at that. We could like, I don't know if we're like out of time, but we could make like a
Oh, we have time if you
list of the
wanna.
directions.
Yeah,
I don't know.
if you wanna mash them up together, we have, I think, just
Yeah,
about enough time to do it.
because I think it would be cool if we could just enter location A, location B here, run the collection, and get our directions to print
Voila.
like the old school days. Yeah.
Print.
Or
Do you
yeah.
wanna send them by fax?
Well, I guess I could, take my laptop in the car with Postman and just scroll around, but I'm not opposed to paper. All right. So in our Get Directions tab, let's make this pretty by visualizing our response. First, I like to get the body. em.response.json. And this response has a ton of stuff in it. What I like to do, I'll make this a little bit bigger, is collapse all of the things to make it easier to read. Is it routes? We want the directions, right? Where did our text directions come in? Yeah, it's in directions.
And each direction has like an attribute. Wait.
We have an array of something.
Oh, is it
Okay,
different? So I guess sometimes it can offer you different routes as well. Like if
okay.
there's like
So this is like
better.
there's only one way to get there according to
Okay.
this API. And let's see what's beneath the summary here. Yeah, features. Okay, we've got features, and then start at location 1, go northwest. So we could print out these texts in a line. If we had like more time, I'd love to make a map, but I don't know how much time we have.
Yeah, I think we'll we'll do
Yeah,
the text together.
that could be your challenge and people watching.
Yeah. I mean, so the point of that, so that collection, when Claire is done with it, we'll make it available on our public workspace as well, so anyone can fork it and start playing with it, putting their own locations, etc. And if anyone wants to add like an actual visualizer, etc., feel free. You can fork it, add your visualizer, do a pull request, and then you can have other people enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is great. It even gives you like how far it is. I'm not sure what the unit of time is, or excuse me, unit of length, or the unit of time. These are probably epoch
What is that?
time.
Yeah.
Well, because that's a lot of seconds to walk that far. So.
Yeah. And there's like arrival
I think.
time.
Oh, you know what? Because in our routes we have like a start time. This is probably the ETA relevant to now.
You
Yeah.
think so? That's still
Yeah,
a
I'm
lot
guessing
of.
this is probably epoch time, like the number of seconds since 1970 or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes
Yeah.
sense. So it's not in relation with now. It's in relation with like 1970.
Right. Yeah. Here's the arrival time. Yeah. Okay. But maybe just for simples, we just do the text first.
Yep.
See how long that takes. Okay. All right. So we have our body, and we want to dive in to directions, right? Let's just call these steps. And from the body, we go into directions. And inside directions, we have features. I think all of the text lives in the features. Yeah. So we'll go down to features. Let's get those first. And from the features, we can get the texts, right? Because each feature has attribute text.
Yep.
So we'll map this. We'll get the features attribute text, attributes. Right, it's just an object. Okay. Let's always check our sanity.
Console.
I'm going to log what we just mapped out. Good, something went wrong. Cannot read property map of undefined. So we haven't quite grabbed our features, apparently. I must have typed something wrong up here. Body.
Directions. Oh, is it in roots?
Is it? Oh, yeah. I collapsed so much stuff that I think I skipped some. Roots? No. directions, body dot directions.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what?
It's
Remember
an array.
where we have to get our first and only route. Send that off. Let's check the console. There, we've got our start at location 1 and blah, 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 blah. That's how we get there. So it'd be cool if, no, you can't read the console on the road. You're going to start a car crash. Let's just use the visualizer feature real quick, right? So right now we have no visualizer set. We can do it by saying pm.visualizer.set. This takes 2 parameters. The first is a HTML template, and the second is any variables that we want to put in. Before we put any variables, let's just make a template. I'll use backticks so we can have a multi-line string because it's much easier to read HTML like that as a human.
I think you're coding too fast for the stream.
Let me slow down.
Yeah, as in not for the people. I think the people can follow. It's just the actual stream. The video doesn't follow because you're too fast.
Oh, all right. My bad. So what I did is setting up the Postman visualizer. It's very simple. You just do pm.visualizer.set, and we just pass it some HTML in a template. So I'm just going to make like an h1 tag in our template just to get something to show up. Directions. And if I send this now, we have our h1. And maybe we could give our point A, point B, because it doesn't seem
I was
really
going to say it's in the variables. That's also pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. We could say from to, maybe make it 2 P's. How about that? Just templating out the static stuff for now. Okay, and we want to get location A and location B, right? And under the hood, Postman's template engine inside the visualizer is handlebars.js, which happens to use the same variable syntax that Postman uses. And we can inject our variables into our template by making a variables object where the keys are the names of our variables inside. We have location A. We have to give location A a value, which is stored in our collection variables right now. I can go grab that, pm.collectionVariables.get. We call it location A.
Yep.
And location B. So we're going to get location A. All right, so we should have it now. We're going to do the same for location B. And save these to variables called the same. So these are now local variables in our script. All right, we've plucked them from our collection variables, taken them to the local level, meaning we can now inject them into our template. All right, so we should expect the from and to be those values in our collection now. Okay, it's not super pretty, but it's functional.
That works, yeah.
And the last thing we want to do is, maybe list those text directions down here. And we can go ahead and make an ordered list, I guess. So we do them in the right order. So in our HTML template, I'm going to create an OL for ordered list. And now we want to iterate over our texts from up here, right? I
think it's one of the first time on this stream where we do a visualizer and we don't just copy paste stuff from like some library. So it's brand new.
It's fun to play with the visualizer and see what works and what doesn't work. This might be an example of what doesn't work. Let's see. So I know handlebars has the special each function for iterating. And you start it with this pound sign. You say each to show it's like a special method here. And we give it our array that we pass down. So since I've injected text into our template, I can access that array here. And you have kind of your for loop here with the starting the each and ending the each. Whatever is inside is what gets printed to the screen. we're going to print some list items. LI. And I guess we just want the item itself, which I think we can say this. I don't know. For each of our items. Let's see.
Yeah, that's gonna be one where.
Hey!
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Cool. So this looks very like early 2000s. Go print this and bring it in
it's
the
actually
car.
like the exact. It looks like a piece of paper.
That's right. Cool. So there you have it. Like we could probably do it for another address real quick just to see if it works.
Yep.
Because now we have this machine all built up. We just change the current value. Like, let's see. I can give, what's an address of a famous place? Let's say like the Met Museum in New York. Address. Oh, here.
Oh, you had it. Yeah, that works.
Did I? This?
Yep.
Just take that and paste that here for our point A. And for point B, where should we go?
New York.
We should go to, what's a famous place in New York we could go to? Sean, you're on the call.
Yeah, Sean. New York bus station. I don't know.
Sure, the train station, right? Penn Station. New York.
The Empire State Building, he says.
Empire State Building. Let's do that because
that's probably more famous, yeah.
That's right.
I wonder how long the instructions are going to be because they're very detailed, right?
Yeah, and New York's kind of big.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's cool. The computer does it for us, so that's the nice part. All right, so now we have 2 addresses in New York. Let's now run the whole collection. This will run.
We won't see the visualizer if you run it, right?
Yeah, we won't see the visualizer, but it will run all of our scripts to update these.
Yep.
So I'll run in this order and say run directions Tron. Okay, we got 200. Okay. I don't know if that means a success or not with this API, but
I mean the response for the last one is like 4. Is it 4 megs?
4 kilobytes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like 4. Okay.
But now this is our old directions, right, from Bangalore. Yeah. So we have to resend this request to update the visualizer. But now we have our updated stops or steps. So look at that. We're going from the Met Museum to the Empire State Building.
Oh, it's
and tells you exactly how to get there.
It's actually pretty easy.
Hey, it doesn't really tell you how long it takes. We could do that.
We could add that to the
Yeah.
But I think I'm looking at the time. Yeah. I think we're right on. Yeah, that's very cool. Actually, you did. So I'm gonna say you did way more than I thought you would do. And when I started, like, I was pretty vague when I gave the challenge. It's because I was pretty vague about what we could be doing. But you nailed it for sure. So it's very good.
Well,
we have like
you picked a really cool API. Like I think people can have a lot of fun playing with this one.
We have a proper direction Tron, and now everyone can have their own.
That's right.
So yeah, let's pull back from the screen sharing. Go back to our faces. And well, actually, you know what? No, I'll bring back your thing because I do want to quickly walk through, even though you just did it. So,
sure.
Quick recap of what we did. Right, we started. Basically, I told you get a direction API and get me from point A to point B. So you went ahead, searched on the public API network for a direction API. You found this ArcGIS one. You forked most of it to your workspace. So most of it because we only need 3 out of the 4 ones. Then we started playing with the Geocoding API. So we got you some random addresses. You managed to use the API to get like the proper address from it. And I think it was giving you like a confidence score for like how sure it was.
Yes.
And then with these, you use the routing API that takes like different points as parameters. We just use 2, but you could add more. You could have like point A, point B, point C, point D, as many as you want. But we did like point A, point B. So yeah, put them as parameter here as latitude, longitude. And then you just went ahead, created a visualizer just like that. That gives you the actual directions. Just output it there in the visualizer with some templating, some good old ordered list in HTML.
Good
I love that.
old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, that's very cool. So yeah, I'll be asking Claire to share that later on one of our public workspace, and we'll link it with the video on the replay. So anyone who wants to play with that, you'll be able to. If you want to add more, feel free. We always like welcoming contributions. But yeah, that's about it for the content of the stream. Let me bring back our faces. Let me bring back the chat. Everyone's here. We're all together. So yeah, well done, Claire. First, I think.
Thank
pretty
you,
impressive.
Arlemi, for picking a fun one. Like seriously, this is a very useful API.
Yeah. So actually, so Raul, who works for the developer experience at ArcGIS, sent me a Twitter DM yesterday, telling me, "Oh, we're working on that lately. We'll be releasing in March, etc." As in, like making it widely available and like publicizing it. And I was like, "Oh, that looks cool. Maybe I should just use it for the challenge." So like since yesterday, I've just been trying to find a way to use it, and I think that's going to be hopefully that's going to be good feedback for them as well. But it was pretty interesting to see what you managed to do. Before we leave, there's a few things we do. We do community shoutouts, and then I do want to shout out an event that's coming up as well. So before I do my part, I want to give it to Claire if you have any community shout out that you want to do.
Well, that's easy. I want to shout out to Louise. Thank you for giving us a geography lesson and helping us get our coordinates on the right track.
Yep, that's a good one. I think, yeah, shout out to all of you on the chat that sticked around. Hopefully you learned many things around geolocation, APIs, Postman in general. One thing I do want to shout out, and I'm going to did I lose it? I had something ready to share. No, it's right there. So let me share my screen quickly. We have an event coming up not next week. It's actually in about 3 weeks, which is Introduction to API Security. So that's a Space Camp webinar. So we do that every 2 weeks or so, and it's more educational. And it's a webinar. It's not that as interactive as the stream, so it's very much into like teaching you things. I'll drop a link to that in the chat. But this one is about API security. So we'll look at the most common API vulnerabilities and how you can mitigate them, how to identify them from the start, and basically how to handle API security from the moment you start defining your API all the way to when you deploy it. And we'll try to do that in an hour or less. So that should be a lot of content in quite a short amount of time, but hopefully you'll all learn something there as well. Okay. With that said, thanks, Claire, for taking up on the challenge. Congrats again. And we'll see you all next week for another stream. No, actually, I don't know if we're doing one more stream because it might be Thanksgiving. So just follow our socials. Get Postman on Twitter, postman.com/ youtube.com/postman on YouTube, etc. And you'll be made aware of the next stream. All right. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Cool. Happy hacking.